darling, look what we started. Breaking in half left us broken hearted. So where do we go from here? Take me home, cause I wanna feel like I belong. They relate to all this pain in my past, so they listen to my song. So let's go back to where it began and where it all started from. Take this chance, one last dance, cause I've been waiting way too long. Take my hand, I wanna show you something. Promise I've been dying to see ya. They say the grass ain't always greener. I guess what they're saying is true. In my dreams, that's where I seen her. Take my heart and take all of me, girl. Let me show you what I wanna do. I wanna spend the rest of my life with you. Are you listening, darling? Look what we started. Breaking in half left us broken hearted. So where do we go from here? Are you listening, darling? Look what we started. Breaking in half left us broken hearted. So where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? Yeah, where do we go from here? Are you listening, darling? Are you listening, darling? Are you listening, darling? Look what we started. Breaking in half left us broken hearted. So where do we go from here?
Hello and welcome back everybody to Bit Trading. My name is AJ, one of the mentors here, and today of course we are going to take a look at the Bitcoin technical analysis. As always, we are going to run through what is currently going on, what has been going on, what we can look out for, and of course those next potential trades that we can be looking to take as well. So if that all does sound interesting, please make sure you smash that thumbs up button. Helps me out, helps the channel out, and I can continue to of course bring this content to you. But enough of that, let's jump into the charts and let's take a look at what is going on. So of course, as we know, after making that all-time high at $104,645, we have seen Bitcoin pull back. Okay, we have seen Bitcoin pull back, and it's nothing I'd say to be extremely worried about at this moment in time. Okay, it's nothing that is unexpected, right? We've seen a huge move towards the upside, okay, without any kind of major correction, right, on this whole move up. So corrections here and there is necessary if we do want to see continuation higher. Okay, that is what we want to see. Perfect example is here is the front run of 100k. We've got this big pullback again, and then of course we got this big rise towards the upside. What did we get after that? Okay, we got this big pullback. Is this a pullback, okay, which could lead to a new all-time high? Okay, I don't know. I don't really care. Of course, I'm just looking for possible trade entries to, of course, take advantage of that potential price action. Now, in terms of what happened with the, what kind of caused this big correction, of course, I did cover that yesterday, right? But just to go over it briefly, right, just to go over it very briefly, we did have over 500 million, okay, 500 million odd long trades open up here. Okay, you can see 64 million here. Okay, you can see 87 million here, 167 million here, 92 here, and 149 million longs opening up here as well. Okay, now that was a huge amount of long trades to come in, right? And then price started to pull back. Okay, price did start to pull back, and we saw this huge amount of these huge amount of long trades open up. However, price kind of just was very lethargic up here, was just not really doing anything. It was just consolidating sideways. It wasn't really going anywhere. But like I said, we had all of these long trades opening up, like 48 million, 72 million, 49 million, 25 million, 18 million, 61 million, 15 million, 90 million, just absurd amount of long trades opening up, but price just wasn't going anywhere. So this is, of course, telling us that there is a big player up here with a big sell limit order, who is, of course, absorbing all of those, or series of big players, sorry. Could be one, could be a series, okay, but there are big players, big player up here, okay, with big sell limit orders, absorbing all of those, stopping price from going higher, okay? And of course, what does that lead to? Well, it leads to price reversing into the opposite direction, which of course is downwards, right? And that's exactly what we saw. And then we just saw this huge liquidation of long trades, right? It was just a huge long squeeze, right? And this in turn is not extremely bearish whatsoever. Okay, again, there's nothing here that is screaming extreme weakness, extreme bearishness at me at this moment in time, and we'll get into a bit more depth in that. But at this moment in time, it doesn't scream weakness. Even this, it doesn't scream weakness. It's just another one of those moves down that we need to, of course, liquidate those over positioned, over leveraged FOMO long trades that opened up at the high here. We came down, we took out liquidity from lower. We've seen another move up, okay? And like I said, we're not showing any major signs of weakness, right? What I was explaining in, I think it was last week, towards the end of last week, was that, yeah, okay, we actually did see quite a fairly big sign of weakness up here in terms of where we were, okay? But in terms of where we are, it's not really a big sign of weakness at this moment in time anyway. What I was saying was, for this to turn into a big major sign of weakness, it's a case of, right, this pullback here, okay, to then be followed by a move up, which of course we got, which is happening on, of course, absorption, okay, bearish absorption. Now we did not get this, okay, we did not get this. If we take a look at if we take a look at XO charts, the order flow, right, we can see we're not getting bearish absorption. So on this move towards the upside, we're not seeing these big players actually come in again and enter into these big short positions, okay. Primarily because maybe they're already in them, okay? They're already in those big sell positions from up there, okay? But we're not seeing them add, or we're not seeing any of them follow, okay? So for me, like I said, it's not a huge sign of weakness yet, okay? Because we're not seeing all of these long trades coming into big sell limit orders who are, of course, potentially going to absorb all of the longs that come into the market. And then again, it leads to price only heading in one direction, which of course is down, right? And like I said, we're not seeing this, so there's no major sign of weakness at this moment in time. Okay, there's absolutely no major sign of weakness, and in all honesty, there's actually more signs of strength at this moment in time than there are signs of weakness. Okay, I think it's a bit of an obvious statement to make. I get that, right? But in terms of where we currently are, we're seeing huge bullish absorption, right? So we're actually seeing big players entering into setting big buy limit orders, okay, around that 93 to kind of $90,000 area, and we're seeing, okay, all of the sells that are coming into the market, and believe me, there are a lot of these sells. Okay, maybe not as many of the as the long trades at the high here, okay, but there are a hell of a lot of short trades opening up as well, and also a hell of a lot of sells coming into the market from the long trades getting wrecked, right? You can very clearly see 88 million here, 43 million, 27 million, 5.2 million, 4 million, 1.6, 2.3, 1.5, 11 million, 15 million. I could go on, okay, but 72 million, 25 million, 22 million, 32. You can see it here, 64, 42, and whatever else, okay? There's a hell of a lot of shorts and sells coming into the market at this moment in time. And it seems as though price is actually absorbing it. Why? Because we're seeing, of course, price hold this bullish structure, whereas we're seeing on the CVD that a negative delta is building over time. Okay, so we know that, there's more negative delta coming in now than there was when we were at lower prices, okay, or pulling back, to a lower price, telling us that there's big players or a big player sat here with a big buy limit order, absorbing all of those sells, okay, and where can price only go? Okay, it can only really go in the opposite direction, which of course is up. Now, I haven't entered into a long trade off of this at all. Okay, and I did say to the team as well that there was a potential long trade. I didn't publish it. I didn't say I was taking it. I did not take it. Okay, because for me the long trade didn't have enough confluence, but we saw, of course, price pulling into that GP, which was an area of interest, right? And we actually bounced off of that GP perfectly, and the light has just fallen off. Give me 2 secs. It wasn't clipped on properly, but there we go. So yeah. So basically, right, we saw this pullback into the GP. Of course, the GP is a level of support. Whenever I look at a GP and 786 area, I want to have the absorption, right? I want to see that absorption. That's exactly what we got. But again, how I like to enter into my trades is I like to look for 3 bits of confluence. We pulled back into that GP, and it was that, right? It was the GP, it was absorption. Okay, right, if you're looking for 2 bits of confluence, that's a good trade. And in all honesty, yes, it was a good trade because we saw a really nice bullish reaction off of that level, okay, where we saw a rise from, what do we call it? Let's call it 94,000, okay, and we came all the way up to, 98, just a little above 98,000. So roughly a little over $4,000 move, okay? Little over $4,000 move towards the upside. That is a perfect move to, of course, take advantage of. But yeah, like I said to the team, I was looking for a little bit lower, at least to the VWAP, okay, because then that gives me like 3 perfect bits of confluence that I like to look for when entering into a trade. So, of course, the VWAP had been respected many times in the past as well. That's, of course, lining up with the GP 786 area, more so the 786. So it was a case of, right, I was kind of looking for that to be respected. Okay, of course, the absorption that we already had, and then it's a case of, if we let's say we lost the VWAP and maybe on a reclaim or just a bounce off of that VWAP, for me would have been the strength to enter into a long trade. And then, of course, it's looking for a nice simple 1 to 2 risk to reward ratio. Take that TP1, move the stop loss to entry, and then let the rest of the trade ride. If we come back down, who cares? We've taken the TP1, move the stop loss to entry. If it continues higher, great. Okay, we can take some more profits on the way up. It's simple as. But we haven't seen that yet. Now there's still a possibility because, of course, we came into the GP 786. We had the absorption. We got the bounce. We've come back down. We're bouncing off it again, right? In all honesty, again, it was an opportunity for a second entry on a long trade. But again, in my eyes, I'd rather wait for the VWAP for a little bit more confluence. So that's kind of still how I'm playing it, right? I will remain patient. I will wait for that VWAP. That's where I'm kind of more interested in taking the potential long trade. And also it gives me a bit more clarity into actually a trade entry trigger as well, right? Instead of just entering into it at a random level, it's actually entering into it off of a kind of a reason, right? A trade entry trigger, as I like to call it, of, okay, maybe we lose the VWAP slightly, we reclaim it on that reclaim. That's a big sign of strength, in my opinion. Okay, we see this multiple, many times, and we've taken many trades off of this as well, where we look for reclaims of levels, okay, of like key levels, not necessarily naked points of control because I'd rather see those being respected, but yeah, we had those below as well, but like a reclaim of just a horizontal major pivot point or a reclaim of a VWAP. Right, these are things that I like to look for like trade entry triggers because they are big signs of strength, or in the contrary, it's a big sign of weakness, right? If you're looking, of course, for a short trade. So for example, this big failed auction of the previous all-time high here, that reclaim of that previous all-time high, reclaim below that previous all-time high, was a big major sign of weakness. Okay, and you can see we got that big bearish reaction off of it. Okay, same goes here, right? If we get that pullback, we lose the level slightly. Maybe we just respect it to the dollar. Okay, we can do that as well. But reclaiming it, that gives us a nice easy trade entry trigger to, of course, look for that long trade for a possible rise up. So that's kind of still my plan for a long trade, right? It's still looking for maybe for a little bit lower. Let's get that confluence. Okay, let's get that confluence for a trade, and then we can take that higher. I like the absorption that we're seeing here. It's for me, it's still looking very bullish. And then that's a move towards up to all-time high. I've just seen a comment. Sorry, I haven't had the chat pulled up. I need to pull it up here. So, Mr. FFS, what a night, mate. Good to see you back, my friend. Are you in a short from 104k? 104k. I am not in a short from 104k. I did not short up here. There was a potential. We did see weakness up here. We, of course, had lots of bearish absorption up there. We had price actually coming into a GP 786. But again, it's I like to look for 3 bits of confluence, and I can only see 2 bits of confluence up there, unfortunately. So I didn't actually end up taking any trade up there, but yeah, it would have been absolutely amazing to, of course, have a trade from that all-time high, short trade from that all-time high. But yeah, that's a plan for me. Okay, a plan is to, of course, short all-time high potentially if we see big weakness up there. With, of course, everything that I want to see. So that's kind of what we'll get onto. We'll get onto next, right? But yeah, in terms of the long trade, okay, I still think it's on the cards. It's just a whether we respect that VWAP, okay, and that 786. If we respect it, great. We can look for that long trade. We can take that long trade, and then it's a case of 1 to 2 stop loss entry after your TP1, of course, right, and then you let the rest of the trade ride, and then we have to determine, okay, in terms of like a short trade, because of course price is going to be rising now. We're looking for short trades. Do we see weakness here? Okay, maybe at a GP 786, maybe we start to see absorption, okay, in this area here, okay, or do we not see the absorption? Do we remain looking bullish, okay, and do we look towards all-time high, okay? Do we, do we look towards all-time high for a potential short trade from there? Of course, off the back of something similar to what we saw here, where we get huge amounts of long trades that open up, who get forced offside and are forced to cover, okay, of course, causing that big long squeeze, right? That's kind of what I'm kind of interested in terms of a short trade from up here. Those are kind of the interested levels, right? It's that kind of area here at 100k to 102k for a possible short trade if we're getting the absorption, right, for a move back down. Maybe this could be the start of bearish structure potentially, okay, which could be a big sign of weakness as well. Or we just head to all-time high for another higher high. We get an intraday short trade or just a little swing short trade for then, of course, more absorption, bullish absorption, of course, for then another move up to all-time high. That's kind of something that we can look at as well. So yeah, I mean, if we get the short trade from here, I'd say that's a bigger sign of weakness. Okay, if we see a short trade from here, rather than coming up to all-time high, I'd actually call that strength, going up to all-time high and getting a short trade for a pullback, because, of course, we can continue that bullish structure we are in. We can get absorption on the way down, and we continue that higher prices. Okay, so I'd actually, if we want to see all-time high continuing to be smashed, if we want to see 110k, we want to go all-time high, pullback, all-time high, rather than absorption at 101k ish, okay, and then price pulls back. I'd say that's actually a bigger sign of weakness, okay, but we'll see how that plays out. If that plays out, if we do see this move up, because we may not even see that, but we'll see. But again, for the long trade, I would rather look for a little bit lower, where we have a huge area of confluence, in all honesty, between 93,300 and 92,000 approximately. This area here is just a huge area of support. We've got VWAP, we've got 786, we've got naked points of control there. I love that area for support. We've got absorption already. Okay, so it just depends on, are we respecting these levels? Do we respect these levels? If we do, okay, we can look for a long trade from down here. Of course, nice ones to potentially look towards all-time high. We will see, of course. Mr. FFS, what a nightmare. I got wrecked on a Pepe short on Sunday. Pepe short on Sunday. Yeah, we could... I'm pretty sure I've got Pepe here. So, where were we on Sunday? Where were we trading on Sunday? Yeah, I mean, we got actually... We got a bit of like a failed auction type thing up here. And then, of course, We actually saw higher for another swing failure pattern. Okay, bit of a pullback, swing failure pattern, bit of a bigger pullback. Okay, and then a bigger swing failure pattern up here for a much bigger pullback. Yeah, so that in all honesty is just horrible price action to be traded. It's trading. It's you take a loss, you take a loss, you take a loss, and then you finally get that nice big trade. So yeah, that's quite frustrating. And in all honesty, I haven't taken a trade in a couple weeks now because I myself I'm not comfortable in the conditions that we're in at this moment in time. I'd rather wait patiently for the market to settle, the market to give me some better trading conditions. Because it's just I understand that it's been a little bit difficult for trades at this moment in time, and the reason for it is because we have been in price discovery, and price discovery does tend to be more difficult price action to trade because we are driven by FOMO. Okay, we are driven by FOMO and just uneducated traders who are just all making money. Okay, they are making some money because they're all doing the same thing, right? But when you look at how we like to trade, we like to trade off of the back of those people not knowing what they're doing and actually getting wrecked. Okay, and perfect example of it is this here, where we saw a huge amount of them getting wrecked. Getting caught offside up here, and then they all got wrecked there. So yeah, I'm kind of looking for something like this where we're seeing big areas of people getting wrecked, okay, or potential areas of people getting wrecked, potential areas of also potential areas where people have just been wrecked, and then of course where we're seeing these big institutions come in, which of course is right here. Okay, we're seeing these big institutions coming in right here, and again, like I said yesterday, I don't think this is a bad spot buy from here. Okay, but you have to remember it's not really a spot buy you want to be holding open for a long period of time, because in all honesty, we're very overextended in all markets right now. So a big pullback is something that you can expect. If you're going over to the Bitcoin fear and greed index. Okay, you can see that we are in extreme greed at this moment in time. Okay, we've been in extreme greed, okay, for the last month. Okay, we've been in extreme greed for a very, very, very long time. Okay, and what tends to happen when we see this is a perfect example. So if we go here and let's take a look at max here. Okay, so we can go back to, so we're 2024 there. Let's go back to 2023, 2020 and 2021. So February 2021, okay, January 2021, December 2020. So this was the area. Is it going to work? There we go. Right. So this was the area up here. Okay. So this was, 2020. Where are we going? So I kind of want to look for October 20. So end of 21, sorry. End of 21. Or 2021, that will work. Okay. But, we had just extreme greed up here. Okay. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean, right? It doesn't necessarily mean you're going to see a pullback, but it does kind of indicate that a pullback is coming. So it doesn't indicate to you straight away, of course, that we're going to see a pullback. But what you have to remember is with extreme greed, okay, comes extreme FOMO, and of course extreme FOMO leads into people just getting absolutely obliterated in this market, right? Absolutely obliterated in this market, and you can see how high we are. So again, on the fear and greed index, so it's not necessarily that we're going to see a pullback now, because we are pretty much close to all-time high in terms of the fear and greed index. But it just means that you have to be a little bit cautious. And this kind of, to me, just signals, okay, this is a very good time to be taking profits. Exactly what I'm doing. Okay, I've been taking profits above 100K, and not a small amount of profit. I've been taking closing the majority of the positions that I am in, spot positions, of course, okay, because I'm in no derivative trades at this moment in time, okay. But in terms of spot buys, okay, I'm closing a lot of them out because I understand we're kind of getting into that area of we're in that area of extreme greed, and we're kind of getting into that territory of, okay, maybe we get that one last push up, right? But it could lead to maybe a bigger correction from here. So it's just something to be aware of, right? Something to be aware of. But yeah, I mean, getting back to it, I haven't entered into a trade. We've been in price discovery, and price discovery is just not the best price action to be trading, because like I said, there's just so much FOMO in the markets right now. But okay, I do like the levels that I see at this moment in time. Okay, I do like the levels I see. I like a little bit lower here. I love the support that we have between 93,300 and 92,100. Okay, for a possible long trade. So we'll see how those levels are respected if we do come down there, because of course we can just hold this GP786. We can just go higher from here. Okay, but if we want to remain bullish, okay, I would like us to not form bearish absorption on this move towards the upside. And it doesn't, okay, it's too early to tell. It doesn't look as though we're going to get that, but it is a possibility. So we just have to be a little bit aware of that. In terms of stock market, huge correction on the stock market. Again, it's just something that's kind of necessary. It's kind of something that's needed. Very overextended there as well. So yeah, it's patience for me. Let's just wait for those best possible trade setups, because I can tell you now that they will come. They will come for sure. But yeah, I think that's everything that I wanted to discuss, in all honesty. So I will probably leave that there. Keep it nice and short, direct, straight to the point. You know my levels already. I've spoken about these many times. But yeah, it's potentially 101K if we get the bearish absorption there. Not too confident that we will. So it's a case of looking more again towards all-time high, or maybe a little bit lower for, of course, a move up. So that's kind of the plan that I have. So yeah, I will leave that there. Have a lovely rest of your day. And yeah, I will see any visionary members in the Discord, and yeah, any non-visionary members, hopefully I will see you tomorrow for the next live stream. So if you haven't already, please smash that thumbs up button, and yeah, I will see you tomorrow. Take care, see you later, and yeah, goodbye.
Take me home, 'cause